We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, "You're too arrogant. You don't change your ways. It isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are."
Hello, Baptist Health. We pause for a moment to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on what would have been his 96th birthday. This is the 39th celebration of King's Day, and it's unique because it is the same day as the presidential inauguration. I often wonder, what would Dr. King say about our progress as a society? We have made many advances, but there is still a long way to go. Many principles from Dr. King's life apply to us in 2025. Dr. King was committed to equity. He was assassinated while in Memphis fighting for the rights of sanitation workers. He was on a mission to eliminate racism, poverty, and injustice. In 1966, he challenged the idea that healthcare should be accessible to all. He says this: "We are concerned about the constant use of federal funds to support this most notorious expression of segregation. Of all the forms of inequality, injustice, and health is the most shocking and the most inhuman because it is often results in physical death. I see no alternative to direct action and creative nonviolence to raise the nation's conscience." Here at Baptist Health, we are constantly working on improving our access points around the system so that all Arkansans can have access to help improve their quality of life. Another principle Dr. King emphasized was excellence in service. One of my favorite quotes from Dr. King was, "Everybody can be great, because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love." He also emphasized doing our service to the best of our ability. Another quote from Dr. King says, "If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets, even as Michelangelo painted, Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, 'Here lived the great street sweeper who did his job well.'" Here at Baptist, we are committed to continual improvement and doing our roles with excellence because each role is vital to maintaining quality of service. Finally, Dr. King fought for inclusion. He emphasized that any organization is better when everyone has a seat at the table. On this King Day, especially a day that aligns with our presidential inauguration, we must remember that we are on the same boat and that working together is important. Dr. King said it best when he stated, "In a real sense, all life is interrelated. All men are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality." During this week, I saw a powerful illustration of this with the snowstorm that we had on last week. My neighbors built a snowman in their front yard. My daughter and I was wagering on how long the snowman would last. With conditions warming, I thought surely the snowman would melt and be gone. On the way to school, my daughter called me excited and said, "Dad, the snowmen are still here." On my way to work, I saw snowmen that had melted some, but in most part, they remained intact. They showed me that we can survive longer if we learn to pull together and work together. Although conditions are rough and rugged, we can survive and thrive together if we work together. Happy birthday, Dr. King.
We give thanks to God who gave us a peaceful warrior, who built an army and a movement that is mighty without missiles, able without an atomic arsenal, ready without rockets, real without bullets, an army tutored in living and loving and not in killing. We thank God for giving us a leader who was willing to die but not willing to kill. And now unto him who is able to keep us from falling, unto him who is able to lift us from the dark valley of despair to the bright mountain of hope, from the midnight of depression to the daybreak of joy. Unto him who is able to adjourn the counsel of despair and turn the jangling discords of hate and shame. Peace be to his ashes and rest to his torment.